Hello, friends. It's Katie back with another episode of my vlog and another episode of the Cinema Club Sunday Roundup. We had another low week of movies this week. We actually only watched 2 movies this week, but we also completed one of our series, so I'm going to talk about that as well. But let's start right at the top. Today is Easter. Happy Easter if you celebrate. And I always try to come up with a movie that's kind of on theme for Easter each year without being really on theme for Easter each year. In past years, we've watched Watership Down and Harvey and Donnie Darko for the bunny elements. This year I decided to go in a little bit of a different direction, and I chose Cool Hand Luke from 1967, directed by Stuart Rosenberg and starring, of course, Paul Newman. And the reason why I chose this as our Easter selection this year is because of the I can eat 50 eggs scene in the middle of the movie. Of course, the symbolic piece of Easter with an egg there is great. And we've spent a lot of time in the last week hard-boiling eggs and dyeing eggs and talking about eggs as a symbol of Easter. So I picked Cool Hand Luke to go with that theme just because of the egg-eating scene, which is such a cool scene in this movie. And then I was completely surprised. I haven't watched this movie in at least 15 years, by how much Christian imagery there is in the film and how much Luke is kind of a Jesus character in this story. So it turned out to be way more appropriate as my Easter pick than I even thought it was. And I'm completely delighted that we watched it this week. Cool Hand Luke is a great movie to watch any week of the year. It's an incredible movie. It is a solid 10 out of the 10, A+ required viewing around here. But I definitely felt it a little bit more as our Easter movie, if you will. There's some really overt Christian themes in the movie, including one shot actually right after the egg eating scene where Luke is lying on a table and he's in Jesus's crucifixion pose on the cross. There's another scene in the film where his mom has just died and he does a beautiful rendition of the song Plastic Jesus in honor of his mom, which is really wonderful and very emotional, both for him in the movie and for me as an audience member. But let's back up a little bit. Maybe you don't know the film Cool Hand Luke and you have no idea what I'm talking about right now. So Cool Hand Luke, again, from 1967, is a prison drama set at a road prison in Florida in the 1950s. Our hero, Luke, at the very beginning of the movie is seen in a drunken adventure one night. He's going around town cutting the heads off of all of the parking meters. And it's a very cool opening shot of the movie. You get the old-fashioned version of the parking meter, the mechanical kind that has the little flag that says violation that flips up once the meter has run out of money. And so the very opening shot of the film is the violation flag going up on the meter, and then you see Luke using a pipe cutter to go around and cut the heads off of the parking meters. He's then arrested for that act of mischief and sentenced to 2 years on a chain gang at a road prison for this crime, which is way out of proportion, in my opinion, to, a guy got drunk and defaced some public property. But okay, that's the basis for this story. And the rest of the movie is just the story of Luke's time at the prison camp working on the chain gang, his relationships with the other men in the prison. But he is this indomitable character. Luke himself is, he's going to do what he wants to do. Within reason, he is locked in a prison. But he, immediately comes in and doesn't fit into the pecking order of the prison with the other prisoners. He has to prove himself to them. He makes friends with them, of course, and turns them around on him. He's constantly getting into problems with the prison guards. There's the famous line said by the prison warden, what we've got here is a failure to communicate. That's actually said after Luke has attempted to run away from prison for the first time, not the last time in the film. But without saying too much more about how the plot develops in this film, it is an incredible film. It is a prison drama, like I said, and it really hinges, I think, on Paul Newman's performance. The writing of the whole thing is great, and all of the actors in the movie give incredible performances, but Paul Newman just crushes the role and seals the deal as Luke himself. George Kennedy, who plays Dragline, the leader of the other prisoners, actually won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role, which he's incredible in. And all of the prisoners, the actors who are playing the prisoners, do a great job. And I feel like all of the actors playing the various guards and warden type characters are also really, really great actors. Especially, I didn't write his name down, but one of the prison guards is this guy who wears mirror shades and never speaks. He doesn't have a line in the whole movie, but he's this incredible aim with a rifle. So he's this very intimidating character. The prisoners call him the man with no eyes. And he's a very effective antagonist in this story. So there's the famous egg scene in the middle of the movie. There's the famous sexy car wash scene in the movie. There's so many iconic scenes and iconic shots in this movie. Like I said, it is just a 10 out of 10 required viewing. You absolutely have to watch it. The story of a charming, charismatic guy who refuses to submit to authority no matter what's happening to him. He never goes down, or rather, he just keeps getting back up over and over again, no matter how many times he gets knocked down, including literally in a prison yard fight. So if for some reason you've never seen Cool Hand Luke, please give it a try. If you haven't seen it in a long time, if you are remembering it fondly and thinking you should watch it again and wondering what you should watch for Easter, watch Cool Hand Luke. You will love it. I'm so pleased that we watched it this week, and I'm extra pleased because I actually have been talking about screening the Amityville Horror, the original, of course, for the kids for a while now as a great example of a classic haunted house movie. And it's just been kind of lurking on our list, sort of waiting for the right occasion. And in my research for this vlog, I realized that Stuart Rosenberg directed both Amityville Horror and Cool Hand Luke. So it's my pick tonight. So I'm picking Amityville Horror for our actual Easter movie, having watched our themed Easter movie earlier in the week. Very pleased to discover that and excited to watch Amityville Horror tonight. But you'll have to wait till next week to find out what we thought of that one. Moving on to our other watching this week, we veered off of the America track and went first to Hong Kong for the action crime gangster drama film Chasing the Dragon, 2017, directed by Wong Jing and Jason Kwan, starring Donnie Yen and Andy Lau. Both Yen and Lau are huge Hong Kong stars. They're huge action stars with just huge, lengthy filmographies full of really great films. So they got brought together for this film. It's set in 1960s Hong Kong. It's a story of a immigrant named Crippled Ho, that's Donnie Yen's character, who basically comes in as an illegal immigrant and works his way up in the underworld to become like a ruthless drug lord type of character. It's full of great action sequences. It's got, really exciting fights. It's got great cinematography. It's got great editing. It's got great acting from the two principal actors. And most of the supporting cast does a pretty good job as well. But in the end, this one just kind of fell flat for me. I give it like a 6 out of 10. It does what it does well, but I feel like I've seen most of this stuff before. Like, it didn't like deliver something new for me to be really excited about. It was a decent, straight ahead Hong Kong action gangster movie. But nothing to write home about, I guess. So I wasn't like disappointed in this film, but I don't think I would necessarily recommend it. I definitely think if you're a fan of the genre, if you like Hong Kong action films, if you're a fan of Donnie Yen and Andy Lau, go for it. Watch this movie. I don't think you're going to be like feeling like you wasted your time. But for more general audiences, I would say skip this one. There's better examples in the genre. So again, if you're super into the genre and you want to do a deep dive, I would go for Chasing the Dragon. But just for more casual viewers, I would say it's not a super winner. Above average, but not great. So that's kind of disappointing on that one, but still okay. And then we spent the rest of the week over in Korea, finishing our watch through of Strangers from Hell, which is new on Netflix. It is a 10-episode series, Korean drama. It takes place in a residence, which is like an apartment building, but where your apartment only has your bedroom in it. You don't have a kitchen, you don't have a bathroom. There's like a shared bathroom at the end of the hall, shared kitchen. The landlady prepares meals for people, that type of thing. So it's like a really cheap way of living. And in the story, Strangers from Hell, we have our hero, who's a young man. He's in his mid-20s. He's just moved to Seoul from a smaller town, and he's gotten a job at some place. It's never quite clear what he does at his job, except for like sitting at a desk messing with spreadsheets and being bored and feeling like out of his element. But his real deal is he wants to be a writer, and he wants to be a crime writer, and he's really into crime stories and that kind of genre stuff. So he moves into the cheapest possible apartment he can find at this residence called Eden Residence. And he first moves in and he's feeling a little bit awkward, and kind of immediately things start to feel very awkward. They go from a little awkward to very awkward pretty quickly. And he's chalking it all up to, well, I'm new, I'm an inexperienced kid in the big city, never lived in this type of place before. But as the plot sort of carries on and the whole story starts to develop, he's getting less and less comfortable at his residence and more suspecting that the completely bizarre characters who also inhabit this residence might not be normal people at all and might in fact be serial killers. So we get a female cop involved with this. We get a whole host of characters inside the residence. There's a maniacal dentist character. There's like this pervert who's always watching porn and leaving his door open while he's watching it. There's Miss who is the landlady of the whole place. She's great. There's all kinds of wacky characters to, either sort of fall in love with or be terrified by inside of this residence. And the interactions that they get into and the sort of subplots and dramas and things that start happening are pretty fun. We really enjoyed this one and basically couldn't turn it off. We were kind of binging it, but I was like, okay, I'm not just watching the whole thing 5 nights in a row, so I made the kids break it up a little with movies. But we really kind of tore through this one and really loved it. It's got lots of little plots woven into the big plot. It's, like I said, it's got lots of funny characters, lots of totally weird characters. Really interesting, just like slice of life view of Korea and what it must be like living in Seoul, but then also obviously with this fictional narrative on top of it of, are these people that I live with murderers, or what the hell's going on in this apartment building? If you've ever lived in a tiny apartment where you could like hear the neighbors and all that stuff, I think you'll be able to relate to this style of living. But yeah, Strangers from Hell, it's super fun. Again, I don't want to say too much about how the plot unfolds or what winds up happening at the end of the show. But if you're interested in Korean drama, if you're interested in sort of, like I said, this sort of weird slice of life, but then with a twist type of dramas. There's also a whole plot about the relationship between this young man and his girlfriend and his boss, who there may be a love triangle going on with. It's basically a soap opera, but it gets into some heavy, serial killer territory as well. It's not that gory. There is some violence in it. It has this weird censoring thing where I don't know if it was the studio or if there's a government rule or something in Korea, but they kept blurring out anything that was going to be used as a murder weapon, which actually wound up sort of spoilering parts of it for us, because there's parts where someone will come walking through a room and pick up like an innocuous object off of a table, and then suddenly that object will be blurry and you can't see it anymore. And then you go, oh, someone's going to get killed with that. There's a part where a character walks into a kitchen and there's a rack of knives on the wall and one of them is blurred out, and that's the one that he grabs off of the wall. So I don't know what this sort of selective censorship of weapons, things that could be used as weapons is. It was a little awkward, but not too distracting from the whole thing. But it just stood out as a slightly awkward thing. And then there's a couple of moments of really bad computer animation that just stand way out from the rest of this thing and pull you fully out of the narrative because they just are so bad. But these elements are few and far between. And for the most part, like I said, this is a tight, well scripted, well acted, very well shot TV show. I really enjoy. They make use of the sort of linear aspect of like the long hallway of the residence building a lot, including doing filming from above in a staged set that doesn't have ceilings over the individual apartments. And I always love a nice overhead shot. So they play with the I don't know what you want to say, the geometry of the space of the actual apartment building pretty well, and it functions pretty neatly in the story. So check that one out if you're into any of the things that I just talked about. And that's it for our viewing for this week. Like I said, we are planning on watching Amityville Horror, the original from 1979, tonight. If you have nothing to watch, you could watch along with us. Or, like I said, I'm totally recommending Cool Hand Luke as my Easter pick for this year. If for some reason you don't want to watch Cool Hand Luke for Easter, I always recommend Harvey. That's a really good, not Easter, but bunny movie for folks to watch, especially if you haven't seen it. All right, you guys, as usual, I would love to hear about what you've been watching down in the comments below. Let me know, especially if you have anything to recommend for our Cinema Club squad over here. I'll be back in a few more days with another episode of my vlog. Until then, everyone stay safe, take care, and thanks so much for watching.